Hi there, I'm trying a new field. It's very close to where there is a lot of Roman stuff. So by all rights there should be a bit as well, but it's very big and it's very low and it's very near water, and it just looks to me like it's a bit floody. Even though, is it normal to have so many moles in ground that's flooded? Please tell me if you know, because I don't. Anyway, I came here a couple of days ago and whizzed around and found enough to give me some interest in coming back. Then, quite quick succession, I found a lovely piece of buckle, a lovely whole buckle, which I think is a bit later, a Roman coin that I haven't even started cleaning up, another buckle there, that's rather lovely with a crappy pin in it, and that bit is a bit earlier. A Roman coin of one of the sons of Constantine, probably Constantius or Constans. A bigger Roman coin with, I think I can see a spiky hat of Sol Invictus, that's probably Constantine the Great. I haven't started cleaning that. And this one as well. And that's another piece of rather lovely buckle I found. I mean, I found all this quite quickly, but didn't give myself enough time, and I'm now trying to do it a bit more properly. And then this coin here, now it's one of the girls, it's Theodora, and I thought it must be a Siliqua because it's very, very, very thin. I knew it was one of the girls because on the side I saw first, I could see what looks like a goddess, or Theodora herself in this case possibly, or Theodora as a goddess, cradling a child or two, and that often gives it away. It's going to be a girl on the main side, and it is Theodora. Now, as I said, I thought it was a Siliqua, I thought it was a silver one because it's so thin and fragile. But I did look this up, and I don't think they made Siliquas. I don't think Theodora had silver coins. I couldn't find one. So I think it's got to be bronze or copper. So there's a few bits and pieces. And I found a couple of crappy Roman coins today as well, which I won't bother you with now, but I've got a signal down here. And there's a lot of cartridges in this field. You're not going to have heard any of that because my microphone, I'm not getting you. There we go. Now, can you hear me now? I hope so. New sound set up. I've got my back to the wind, so you should hear me. I bet you didn't hear any of that. But anyway, all sorts of lovely things I found. I hope that's shielded enough. And then there's a signal down here, which I'll plug you in for, because I found a crappy Roman coin just there. I haven't done any filming until now, but I thought if there's a crappy coin down there and this is a similar sounding signal, it's probably going to be Roman as well. There are a lot of cartridges. I'm digging a lot of cartridges. As I said, we're quite close to water. Maybe they were duck flighting or wild filing and stuff like that back in the day. But there's a lot here, and they sound like Roman coins. It's impossible. It's infuriating, but you can't do anything about it. And I can't hear anything yet. Now let's just try. I'm gonna wrap this round like that. Sorry, I should have done this earlier really. There's not to waste your time. Ooh. Ow. That's working. Now. So the stuff here, now I reckon I think that's a Roman coin or a cartridge. I always say that, I know, because it always is. It always is, but it's right next to it, another crappy coin. So here we go, let's have a look. Things are very close to the surface in this field, very close. I'm not at all worried about things not being deep. That's sounding a bit cartridgey or leady now. It looks to be, it's one of those pointy buckles. So that's medieval. It's one of those tiny buckles which look quite modern, which aren't. And so that's nice as well. It's not a massive amount to write home about that, but it is nice. It's a good sign of age, that. So, hooray! Not just Roman already. Now, as I said, it's big here, it's really big, and there's no obvious hot area at the moment, so we'll just have to see what happens. Well, that's jolly nice. Gosh, it sounded loud. I thought it was a modern penny or 2p. It was a real ding, 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 and it definitely has some design and would have been gilded. And I think it's a strap end of sorts. And you can see where the buckle, I suspect, would have gone round that section there. And that would be where the pin came out, there. So, I mean, that's just lovely. Just so decorated. Or would have been, at one point I would have thought. I don't know what that is there. But that's just a lovely sign. It's a lovely sign. Because I don't know about this area. It's very low. Feels like it would have been swampy at one point. So we'll just see. Well, here's another little Roman coin I've dug. Very shallow it was. But there were, as you know, so many moles. I've got a feeling, might that be silver? It's a bit buggered on that side, but there's a head, it's Roman. And then on the back there, I mean, I think that's got an outside chance of being a Siliqua. It's very thin. I just don't know. But then I thought that Theodora was a Siliqua, and it's not. But I just think that might be Roman. Look, can you see? There's so much detail on it. Not Roman, sorry, silver. Wow, love it if it was. Quite often, as is the case, you can probably read more than I can at the moment with this camera. Well, God, there really is no explaining it, is there? I have just dug up a tiny cut half, cut quarter even. I have also found another little hammered coin of no description at all. I'll show you that as well. There's nothing on it, hardly. I mean, even the detecting hub will struggle with that. Can you hear me okay? Always worried about the sound, aren't we? Always. I don't know, there's nothing really on that. But it is definitely silver. And then this tiny little cut quarter, so you know your machine's working. So 2 early bits of hammered silver there. And then this, my God. Now this sounded just like a cartridge. I mean, now, it's a buckle of sorts. But it is incredibly ornate, and the more I'm taking off, the more stunning it's going to be. Now it's missing its pin and the actual buckle itself. This is the buckle plate, I think. And I think I've heard of these before. I don't know what they date to, but I think is it a raven buckle or something like that? I mean, might it even be Viking? I can see a tail there and some wings, and then the buckle itself would have gone through here and out the other side, and then the pin would have come out there. And it's absolutely fabulous. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And I was struggling a bit today. I mean, I found a few bits and pieces, but I can't find an area. I'm just digging up lots of cartridges. And then out of nowhere, this. Now, gosh, the wind is picking up. We'll go straight back to headquarters because I'm seriously excited. And have a closer look at it there. Wow, my God. Okay, let's go. Well, as it turns out, I have seen one of these before, and I can't believe I forgot about this one because I found it under really unusual circumstances in a video I put out about 2 years ago. I will put a link to it in the description because it's a really fun one. But I found this tiny little fragment in a field, and then a long time after I found the rest of the buckle, and immediately I think I knew what I was reminded of the fragment that I'd found, and look, it fits absolutely perfectly. It's part of the same thing, and they weren't actually even that close, I don't think. But the point is about this buckle, which apart from being broken is more complete, is that it's to all intents and purposes much of a muchness the same one, and they are medieval buckle plates in the shape of a bird. They've got the wings going back, and the body and the tail of a bird, and the buckle, as I tried to explain in the field, goes through that section, and the pin would have come out there. So it's an absolute, I mean, to have found one of these would have just been amazing, but now to have two such similar ones, and they're very similar in size as well. This one's much darker. Anyway, I put it on the detectinghub.co.uk, information below. Because it's just such a nice example, if nothing else, just to say, just to show it off. But I wasn't 100% sure what it dated to. They are quite early, not quite as early as I'd hoped. I thought it might be late Saxon, but it's not far off that. They date to 1100 to 1300, and Kath put us onto this one, which is very similar. Non-swanks, it's not as nice as either of mine, I'm pleased to say. But here we go, a complete medieval copper alloy buckle plate dating to circa 1100 to 1300. And it really is very, very similar. It's much greener. Not an awful lot more to say on it, apart from it says there are similar buckle plates and fragments that have been recorded with the pass, found in Norfolk, Suffolk, which is the sort of area that I was in, so that makes sense as well. It's obviously, you know, possibly a sort of Scandinavianly or Vikingly influenced. And that wouldn't be completely out of the remit, because it looks like a sort of raveny type thing, doesn't it? And ravens have that sort of wedge-shaped tail coming out of the back. So that's what they are. Now I've got two absolutely fabulous M-shaped buckles, which, as it says here, takes the form of a bird or letter M. So I'm completely thrilled with that. And let's go back to the fields. We come back here a couple more times. It really was a pretty astonishing day. So see you later. Look, this gave a similar sound as the last one I found. Look, another cracking buckle plate, which would have had gold all over it. That's where the buckle would have been there, and the pin coming out there. And it's got some nice zigzaggy design there, and it's got a rivet still left in it there. Nothing on that side, as you would expect not to see. But that side would have been very grand indeed. You can sometimes scrape away and get some more gilding out of these things, but I don't think in this case we will. Love that. Gosh, it's hard work at the moment, but it's there. I've left my big camera miles away, so we're having to make do with the little one, which is running out of batteries, annoyingly. Now, since we've been back, I've dug in the same area as that funny buckle, which you'll know about more than me now. And I'm just here thinking about it. I've just dug loads of cartridges. I've been around the same area. Now, I'm hoping this isn't one. It does sound a little bit different. It's a bit sharper, it's a bit smaller, but then it could be a 410 or a 20 bore. They're infuriating when you've got so many in a good area. You can't not dig them. I think that's another one, I'm afraid. I can't live dig if this is the case, because it's just too much setting up every time. But I've just got a feeling that might not be one. And I do have something to show you anyway, and which is not a cartridge. I'm so sorry, it's infuriating that it's just another cartridge, and my God, they must have done some shooting here. But this is something which was, again, it's very squawky sounding. Listen. You'd say rifle round every day of the week, wouldn't you? Now, I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's something to do with a purse bar. I think that would have held where the actual bar itself went to open up the purse, I think. I don't know what it dates to, but it's a nice little bit of copper, which, I mean, there are as many rifle rounds here as there are cartridges. And I just dug this up so half-heartedly, thinking let's get it done. But that's what it is. I think it's something to do with the purse bar. So probably 17th, 16th century, and lovely ornate little thing, whatever. But I'm really hopeful about this area now. But it's not everywhere, and it's really hard to find. Swan just landing. I'll show you. It's lovely being so close to this water, but I'm not sure how came into land just now. It's turning out to be a bonkers day. I'm going to sound like I'm being really spoiled, but I've just dug up so much rubbish and so many cartridges. Like the other day, it was putting me off digging. It was putting me off digging holes because every single one is a cartridge, and I've set up several times and I've dug another cartridge, and this sounded a bit like a cartridge, a bit higher pitched, but there's really not much in it, is there? Hang on, let me get a cartridge and show you what it's just a bit maddening. Really no difference. I mean, this sounds a little bit softer, this cartridge, but not much. It's a coin, it's a Roman coin, and it's a fabulous one. And so I'm having the most incredible day, but I've dug a lot of holes to get this but I've dug a lot of holes. Now, it's very dark. You won't have heard any of that. I forgot to turn my thing on. I'm so sorry. But I banged on about cartridges. I've got it on now. And how you couldn't hear me. And all the rest of it. And just finding this incredible Constantine coin amongst all the rubbishy cartridges that we're finding. And it's got the camp gates on the other side. So it's what is it Beata Tranquillitas, or is it Kais Virtuous Orb, or Virtuous Kais, or something like that. It's a really lovely coin, and I've got to be a bit careful with it. So that's just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. But it means I really have to dig everything. There's no question about it. I have to dig these thousands of cartridges to find the good stuff. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm not doing this very scientifically. I'll have to come back and do it properly one day. This is the other incredible thing about all these fields, is it's the lithics, it's the flint you get. Now, I'm not a massive expert, but I'm learning, and that is definitely knapped flint. You can see by the way it is, it's sort of faceted there and there, where they've been clicking it off to form, and look how sharp that is. It's not like metal that rusts and corrodes. I mean, that's as sharp as the day it was napped. This is what you get off them. Look, these tiny sort of what they call lithics, which are just razor sharp. And I didn't find these together, so I don't think one is from the other, but you get the idea. You're napping these off, you're clacking them off, and the result are these razor sharp edges on these flints. And that's just, I find this mesmerizing really, because it just shows that, it shows that people have been on these fields for tens if not hundreds of thousands of years. My God, I'm afraid each shot is going to look exactly the same because the wind is so strong coming from my back. And I'm going to have to go home quite soon. It's been the most extraordinary day. It's been brilliant. I found a couple of other tiny Roman coins on the surface where the moles have obviously dug them up. Now listen. That can't be a cartridge. That can't be a cartridge. If this is rubbish, we really can't do any more live digs. I mean, I'm just so hopeful of this because it's not a cartridge. It's just not. Just doesn't sound right now. Ooh, I mean, that's one of the nicest signals I've had all day. It'll be a bit of lead now, it'll be a big bit of lead. But my gosh, it sounds very sort of... No, I don't know what that is, but it's quite special. It's it's gilded. I think it might just be a buckle. We'll look at it properly in a minute. What does that look like? Does that look like a strap end or a buckle? Wow. Okay, well, that was worth digging. Might it be a Roman buckle, I wonder? I think that might be the strap end has come round a bit off the buckle itself. That's what I'm thinking. I've got to be a bit careful here. Because that's absolutely stunning. We're not gonna, we can't open that here because I don't want to break it. But I think that's the buckle plate coming round on itself from the buckle. Now, there's an outside chance this is Roman. But I think what we'll do, we'll take it to headquarters and look at it properly there. And I'll say goodbye to you from there, I think, because that's me. I think I've done enough. I think that's a lovely thing to end on. So let's go to headquarters. If you don't want to see what this is, then I'll say goodbye to you now. But otherwise, for the rest of you, let's go and have a look. Okay, let's go. Well, as I've just pointed out, not quite the end, because I have a real going back to the car moment. I mean, the best really is properly yet to come. I mean, I found an absolutely fabulous coin, but you'll see it in a minute if you keep watching. But just have a quick look at this buckle. Now, it really is rather a beautiful thing, and I think it's quite early. I mean, I reckon 1100 to 1300 as well, by the way it's made. It's got gilding all over it. And even though it's probably not as early as I thought, i.e. Saxon or Roman, I think it is an early type. And what had happened in the field was the plate itself had gone through, as it were, had gone through the ring. And actually now, if you take it back, you can see quite clearly how it would have functioned. And that's really just rather a lovely thing. As I said, it's gilding all over it, and it would have been grand. And that gives me a chance to have a look at a quick look at these other buckle plates. So there's 3. I mean, God knows what went on in that field, but I mean, that looks actually incredibly similar in colour and design and everything. That rather bigger buckle plate, and there's that one there as well. So there's 3 really sort of ornate buckle plates from that field, sort of medieval, early medieval artifacts, which is just absolutely thrilling. And just to say, thank you very much everyone who's been bidding on eBay. We didn't put anything up in the last video from about 3 weeks ago. But I will put some of these things up from this video. I'm not sure I'm going to put up my M-shaped bird buckle, but I might put up the rest of these buckle plates and stuff. I'll see how I feel in a few minutes time. And I'll put some of what we found in the previous video up as well. So there will be a few bits and pieces to go up. And as I said, it really helps the channel out. Everyone's been extremely generous. And as always, if I feel that you've been too generous, but I do it anyway, I'll always throw another little Roman coin or something in as a way of saying thank you. So you'll get a bonus item from on top of the item you buy. Anyway, I will see you back here one more time. Oh, and I really am sorry, the audio again. Twice that happened in this video. For whatever reason, I've got a mental block. This is so easy to switch on and off, and I just don't sometimes, and I didn't in this last clip. But hopefully the audio is not that important. What I find is, and you'll see that. So apologies in advance. I got this double beeper on a molehill, and it's another tiny Roman coin in an area where I wasn't expecting to find it. I'm just going back. I mean, that's no great shakes. It looks like it might be corrosius or something like that. It might clean up. I don't know if you saw the film I did recently when I found the gold ring. I mean, the most incredible thing I've ever found in my life. I mean, real once in a lifetime stuff. I'll put it at the end of this video if you haven't seen it. That was the first dig I did of the day when I found that ring. Like I said at the time, we always have a go back to the coal moment, but very rarely a first dig of the day. I'm doing a tiny bit by the electric fence here, which I tend to avoid. I got a tiny signal, and it's a little Saxon skill. I'm sure of it. There's one person in particular who's going to get so angry if he's watching this, because he doesn't believe I find stuff at the best of times. I packed away all my sound stuff and everything, so I can't show you how it sounds, and I haven't looked at it properly yet. But that's what it is. I mean, because I've found them before, and even better than that, I think I found this one before. I think it might be the walking bird again. It's got a bird on one side, I think, and there's possibly a bird on the other side. It might be a double bird. I can't see because it's just got too much dirt on it. And I really am not going to rub this. You can't. I get into trouble from you guys anyway for rubbing coins, but I'm not going to rub this one. This has got to go back and be cleaned properly. But I'm absolutely amazed. So we'll go back to headquarters now and look at both of them. Okay, let's go and have a look at it. Well, that was excruciating. I am sorry about that. It will not happen again. I'm going to make a proper mental note. Always turn that bloody thing on, whatever. But what's not excruciating is that coin. I mean, my God. Now, I knew what I was dealing with because I found something very, very similar very recently, if you've been watching my videos. And it's this tiny little one here. It's got a bird on one side and a head on the other, and it is just immaculate. I mean, it really is the most special coin in the world. And when I saw this one on the day, I immediately recognised the bird. Now, it's much darker in colour. It's not nearly as silver as this one. And both are absolutely minute. I mean, the craftsmanship and workmanship that's gone into these is just extraordinary. But they are a very similar bird. They look like waders or herons or something like that. But on the other side of this one is something different. It's not a head. It's an animal. It's a quadruped with a funny tail with 3 sections to it and an open mouth and something going on the back. I mean, it looks really quite evil. I mean, it's not something particularly recognisable, I wouldn't have thought, but I don't suppose it's supposed to be. Now, these are really quite early coins. They're Saxon skeets, and they are the Q series. I've got it down here. Now, the first one we found is very much in the book, in Spink. It's Series Q, which I think are animal types, and they date to 600 to 775 AD. So really quite an early coin. This one here is 808A in your Spink variety IE. And it's a diadem bust, and that's very much that coin. Now on this one, on the other hand, we don't have a complete match. There's something very similar. It's 809 variety 2. Variety 2. Quadruped L, whatever that means, or tail intertwined. Now the one tail intertwines legs. Now the one in the photograph here, the tail is going down. The one that we've got in my one, the tail is very much up and in 3 different sections. But the bird is very similar. Apart from its wings spread, these aren't wings spread, so it's not a complete match, but it is definitely that variety. And I did a quick search on Google, Series Q Skeet, looked at the images, all the images here. Now this one's very similar, Silbury coins on their website, and there it is, Anglo-Saxon Silver Skeet 1710. A wonderful masterpiece of early Saxon art, usually high grade, unusually high grade for a secondary series coin. Well, if that's high grade, well, this is equally high grade. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous. So you've got the quadruped with his tail on that side, and then you've got the bird. Well, I can't get the bird up, but there it is. It's down there with the cross underneath its beak, which is what we've got here as well. It says here, the example here shows the last stage. I think there were several stages of the bird series, with the bird trampling the snake, crossed before, interpreted as good, triumphing over evil. Well, I'm not sure quite how you know that for sure, but that's what they reckon. And so those are these 2 coins. I mean, it's one of these things. It says, God, you're lucky. One's lucky to find one, but to find 2. Now, I mean, that's just absolutely mind-blowing and just makes me feel so lucky. I was going to show you Tasky, but he's outside playing because it's such a nice day. So I will leave you with that. Thank you very, very much for watching. I've got a few more quite good videos to come over the next few weeks. So I hope you enjoy those as well. And I'll see you soon.